We're here with Russ Kommer, and we're honored to have him here at the Crkt office. And Russ, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, and we're really excited about the Free Range Hunter Series knives that are coming out this year. Also, Russ, you know, you've done the Bez Tine, the Brow Tine, Grandpa's Favorite, Two-Shot Folder, the Big Eddies. I mean, so many great Russ Kommer knives in the Crkt collection available for people for a variety of reasons, fishing and hunting mostly. But I just wanted to kind of start with let us know where you're from, and you know, maybe I know you've guided a lot of trips and done hunting and fishing.
Yeah,
and,
we started guiding in Idaho way back in 1980, and ended up in Alaska for I don't know how many years, lots, 20 years I guess. So a lot of what we do is from using the knives. I mean, that's what I designed for, is to try to make a better knife, more comfortable and more user for the guys out in the field, because we're actually out in the field all the time using them, and that's how these all come about. And I'm from Minnesota originally, and I moved to Alaska, and I was there for 21 years, and now I'm back in North Dakota. Just kind of love hunting whitetails and could never get it out of my blood, so that's what we still do. So that's my big joy, and knives.
Great, great. How did you get your start designing knives?
Well, it's kind of that's a neat story, because I was guiding in Alaska and I was skinning a moose, and one of the hunters that was with me had a custom knife, and at that time I couldn't afford to have a custom knife, for one, and two, it was kind of a weird deal that I had a factory knife that I didn't like. I mean, it wasn't comfortable, and I was fighting this moose, getting ready, because if we got him done by dark I was going to get a ride out in an airplane, which is a kind of a good thing. You can sleep in a bed instead of in the ground for another night.
Sure.
And the gentleman handed me this custom knife and said, "Here, use my knife." And I was like, you know, it was kind of a weird deal. I was making my living with a rifle and a knife, and I couldn't have a really good knife. And right then and there I decided that, look, somebody's making these, I can learn to make knives, and that's how I started. I went home and started doing some research on what it takes to do it, how to do it, and I started making knives.
Nice, great. Can you talk a little bit about maybe how you get inspired for a design of a knife, or a particular knife design that, how do you kind of get your start for inspiration for design?
Well, it's from hunting. I mean, you can't really design something that you don't use, and you don't know what it's going to do for the shape or what have you. So I did commercial fishing, I did taxidermy, I had my own taxidermy shop, I was guiding, and so after you take apart X amount of animals, you start to figure out, okay, a drop point works really well in this application, a clip point might be a little better in this deal, and I got what I call the triple F, fit, feel, and function. They have got to be, those three things have got to be in a knife for me. And it's important for me, the comfort. I mean, a knife can be very uncomfortable if it's not designed right. And if you're skinning a really big animal like a moose or even an elk, you spend a lot of time with that knife in your hand. You can get fatigued, and I've actually got blisters skinning a moose. I mean, it's a big job. And so everything, they got to be comfortable, they got to be for a purpose, and they don't have to be ugly. They can have some really nice lines, and that's important to me, is that it's got to have the lines to the knife, and all the aesthetics is right in a knife.
Great, great. So new for this year is the Free Range Hunter Series. Can you talk just a little bit about the folding and the fixed blade, and just maybe the features of the knife, the handle, and just the design?
Yeah, this is the new Free Range line, and we got the fixed blade. We got two fixed blades and the lock back. And we went with the lock back because it's a proven very tough locking mechanism, and everybody understands it. It's no frills. It just flat works. What we wanted to do though was to give it some class, so we actually did a double injection molded handle on it. So what that means is we built tooling to shoot the black first and then the gray and give it the color. But it's for a reason too. The finger choils are slanted forward. That's the position of the knife 90% of the time. We got the anti-skid grooves up on top, so that's for safety and indicators, what I call it, so you know where that your knife is inside of an animal. We did with the clip point, which everybody is a pretty standard design that people like and understand, and it works really well. You got the point for getting in and doing stuff, delicate stuff, but you still got a belly for skinning. We dressed it up a little bit because there's a theme to it. It's a hunting knife, and the rotator pin is actually the same as a head stamp on a rifle. So we got the Crkt and made it look like the primer and everything's in there, which I think looked pretty good and it looks pretty cool. So we got that, and then we go into the fixed blades, and the fixed blades the drop point design is just a no-brainer. It actually is a multi-purpose type blade, but this one has a little bit bigger belly, because if you're using a knife and you're scanning, most guys will know you're only using this much of the knife 90% of the time. And so with that big belly and that radius, you're getting more of a stroke with less work on it. We went with the gut hook on it, very popular, it works really well. Got a deep throat so that it feeds it into the cutting edge versus wanting to bunch up. If you're like a deer's got pretty big long hair on it, or an elk's got thick hide, it'll just kind of keep feeding it into that cutting edge. And again, we did these with the double injection molded, give it contrasting colors. This is a softer material up here, so now you got that adds for your safety and grip on it. So again, you can choke up on them if you're doing skinning or if you're inside the animal, but then you got the finger choils, so if you're doing, you know, big long strokes on a big animal skinning, that's all right there. And then the other fixed blade is the clip point. Same design, anti-skid grooves on them. It turned out to be a pretty cool knife, and the value is there. So this is the new ones for this year, the free range. We actually came up with the name while we were in Africa hunting.
All right. Well, thank you so much for just giving us a brief moment of your time and walking through the knives and showing us the new free range hunter series for 2012. Thank you, Russ.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.